YouTubers! Welcome back to the Titanic Sinks book reading series. The final two chapters, chapters 15 and 16. On the next week, we start The Hobbit. Anyway. That is next week. So let's dive into the Titanic book one last time. Chapter 15. Monday, April 15th, 1912, 12:25 a.m. The surface of the water was littered with wreckage, floating chairs, hunks of cork from within the boat heads, and empty life jackets. But the Titanic was nowhere to be seen. Jack Layer, Hal Bright, Second Officer Whitewater, and 20 other men had managed to get to the overturned lifeboat. They clung to it for dear life. "Where's she at?" someone quietly asked. "Who?" a voice muttered. "The Titanic." "She's gone," the voice replied. "She's gone forever." A few more men swam up and climbed aboard. The boat began to rock in the water. Then with a loud gulp, a pocket of air escaped from beneath, and the small craft dipped dangerously low in the water. "Is it a bullet?" a familiar voice called from the darkness. "No!" one of the men yelled. "Hold on to what you have, old boy," another voice said. "Come on, of you could sink us so." "All right, boys," the swimmer replied. "Good luck and God bless you." With that, he disappeared into the dark night. "Rely me," one of the man in the boat said. "You know who of us, don't you?" "Who?" "It was Captain Smith. I swear it was." Then the men fell silent. Close to the water came the sound of mine and Jack Leah on the locusts tripping on a quiet summer night. But this sound filled him with horror. It was the sound more than 1,000 people riding this boat for help as they slowly froze to death in the icy water. Halbride put his hands to his ears, trying to block out the sound, but he couldn't. He was too exhausted to eat, although he felt as though his heart would break. Ugh. Then, just as he thought he could stand no more, a strange voice broke in on his wrecked thoughts. "I say, men," Second Officer Whitewater declared, "don't you think we ought to pray?" The men on the number overturned boat, he said the Lord's Prayer. The people in the other lifeboats had rowed far from the Titanic, bringing the ship put 8 the tiny boats down with it. Now that the ship was gone, the survivors debated whether or not to row back to save some of their shipmates. Lifeboat number 4 with Madeline Esther Ward. Well, 100 yards back to the others. It took almost a half an hour to reach the spot where the Titanic got down. By that time, they had only 5 people still alive. After being pulled aboard the lifeboat, 4 of the people passed out. 2 of them never woke up. Most of the passengers in Lifeboat 6 wanted to try to save others. The quartermaster, Robert Higgins, the jailer, refused to go. Those drowning men would kept this boat in a second, he said. What's the point of going back for a lot of stiffs? Higgins got his way. Lifeboat number 1 held only 12 survivors. There have been at least 28 more. But when the crew man in charge suggested going back, Lady Lucille Duff Gordon said they should not. She was afraid they would be swamped. The crewmen did not try to argue with the wife of a nobleman. They sat silently, so distant cries died away. Lady Duff Gordon gazed out of the water and put her arm around the shoulder of her secretary, or Cantley. There's your beautiful dress gone, she died. Never mind your nitrous, ma'am. Those ones you have your life when the crewman snapped. He turned to Sir Cosmo Duff Gordon. I suppose you have lost everything, he asked. Of course, Sir Cosmo said. Oh, you can get more? Yes, Sir Cosmo admitted. Well, we have lost all our kit, and the company won't give us any more, the man said. And what is more, my pay starts from tonight. As soon as the ship went down, the seamen had lost their jobs. You fellows won't need to worry about that, Sir Cosmo said. I'll give you £5 each to start a new kit. Of all the officers in lifeboats, 5th Officer Lloyd, charged at lifeboat number 14, showed the most ability. He guided by the lifeboats, lashed them to lashed them to Get it. Some of the boats, like number 14, were full of survivors. Others were barely half full. Well-oared passengers to shift from boat to boat. Until they were evenly distributed. Then he and a few other crewmen rowed an empty boat back to look for survivors. They found a ghastly scene. Dead bodies, held up at life jackets, glowed the water. The men found it hard to row, because the water was so thick with corpses. Alone, the others found only 4 people still alive. One, those survivors died before the night was over. Meanwhile, the men on the overturned lifeboat were facing a crisis. So long night wore on, the boat sank lower in the water. Soon the men had to stand on the boat as he woke up their pants legs. Officer Lighthouser took charge. He organized the men into rows. Then, as the boat shifted one way or another, he ordered the men to lean in the opposite direction. So enable the swamp boat to stay afloat. As morning drew near, the still water began to grow choppy. The men of it turned boat, and it hard and hard to keep their mouths. Some of them collapsed into the water and floated away. I lifted the spirits of those who remained by telling them the Carpathia was on its way would be unknown by morning. Lighthouser scanned the southern horizon, hoping to see a sign of the rescue ship. Then, just as the first rays of dawn lightened the eastern sky, he saw a faint glow on the horizon, followed by a distant boom. Ugh. It was a rocket. The Carpathia was nearby. Firing its rockets to alert the Titanic survivors. Unfortunately, the Carpathia was still a long way off. The men staying on the boat were not sure they could last till it arrived. The water was growing choppier, and their boat was sinking lower and lower, meaning that water was up to their waists. After the sight, Lighthouser saw another sight that made his heart race. It was the train lifeboats Fifth Officer Lowe had organized. Lighthouser fist. This officer whistled from his pocket and blew it. Come over and take us off, he yelled. The people in the other boats could hardly believe their eyes. It looked as if a group of men were staring at one of the Titanic's funnels. One of the lifeboats, number 12, separated from the others, rowed over to overturned castle. The freezing men managed to move from their shop boat to number 12. After they all got aboard, number 12 was all of more than 75 people. It rode so low in the water that waves splashed over the side. Under Lighthouser's command, the boat headed for the Carpathia. By now the sun was almost up. It was the dawn of a cold, beautiful day. As the survivors of the Titanic peered around them, they saw they were not alone. Water was covered with large, jagged, snow-white icebergs. They reflected the rising sun, glowing in pink and blue. Oh, look, Mother! One child on the lifeboat rolled to the Carpathia. He pointed to a hanging deadly iceberg. Look at the beautiful North Pole with no Santa Claus on it. Chapter 16. Monday, April 15th, 1912, 8:30 a.m. Howard Bright felt something he had never expected to feel again. He felt warmth. Bright held together under the blanket and the one that got previous lunges. The ship seemed small and frail under the mighty Titanic. At least it was dry and warm. Bright was overjoyed to be aboard. So were the rest of the hundreds of Titanic survivors, jamming up his launches and decks. Both Ricey was swollen and purple, and one of them was totally numb. The capricious doctor told him he had frostbite. It could have been worse, but I thought the image of Death Fails rushed into the ship's stern, came to his mind. Right, blinked back at you. Yes, it could have been a lot worse. Excuse me, young man. Oh, voice interrupted. Bright looked up to see one of the coffee's officers standing in front of him. Excuse me, the officer repeated. Aren't you one of the Titanic's finest officers? That's right, sir. Bright replied. The officer looked embarrassed. I'm not quite sure how to ask you this. After what you've been through, expounded Arkley. We have more than 600 Titanic survivors aboard. Each of them wants to send more to their loved ones. Let them know they're safe. The poor lighthouse officer doesn't quite know what hit him. You need help, Brad said. If you don't mind to tell me much. I struggled to his feet and snatched his crutches from the wall. So they said, hobbling one after the officer. It's my duty. I always do my duty. Right, and nobly followed the officer that got to his wireless office. And began tapping out hundreds of messages. All of America, including managers of the Light Star Line, was trying to learn about the Titanic. No one had dreamed that such a tragedy could happen to an unthinkable ship. In fact, several newspapers such as the Wall Street Journal reported exactly the opposite. They claimed that the Titanic had not sunk, and that everyone survived. On the cockpit view, the Titanic's stunned survivors sobbed openly. When they wept with happiness, they found out their loved ones were safe. Ruth Becker met her family in a tearful reunion. Nellie Becker had been terrified all night, thinking Ruth had got down with the Titanic. Jack Layer and his mother, overjoyed to see each other, spent the next hour searching Cockpavia for Mr. Layer. When tears of joy came to tears of sadness. They did not find him. Throughout the ship, Titanic survivors held the deepest grief manageable. Most of them had lost someone, a husband, a parent, a friend, and the Titanic sank. Let the Carpathia will ever be known as the ship of widows. As the rescue ship steamed back to New York, the fine spring weather turned bad. And someone rocked the small vessel. The passengers huddled together in the crowded cabins. Night rust and terror as they locked the portholes. A boat swayed unsteadily in the waves. As the Carpathia weathered the storm, a group of survivors gathered in the dining room with the Titanic's remaining officers. Second Officer Light Toucher was the highest ranking crewman to survive. Officer Light Toucher. Ugly rumors going about, one passenger said. Some people are saying the Titanic was warned that it was outside. They said Captain Smith knew when you were entering dangerous waters. I did nothing to prevent the accident. Surely that's not true, is it? Officer Lake Toucher said nothing. He was scared of the hail. Jack faces around him. It is true, we received warnings like Toucher and last minute. The crowded room fell into a stunned silence, and a few passengers began to sob quietly. All filled with horror and despair. The world's greatest ship had plunged beneath the water. More than 1,500 people had died. The ship's crew had known they were in dangerous waters. But why were we going so fast? 100 man says. The Light Toucher looked away. He had no answer for that. Not all of the passengers of Carpathia were huddled together. One man in the full-size cabin all to himself. Muslims may after the lights online, laid alone in the cabin of the Carpathia's daughter. He ignored the many knocks on his door, refused to see anyone or eat or drink. As the ship made its way for the turning ocean, he stood in silence for the porthole. The light clapped waves outside. This man had hoped that the Titanic would be the Olympics performance on its main voyage. And he wanted the Titanic to surprise the world. His wish had come true. Well, thank you so much for reading the Titanic sinks with me. Bye bye. See you next week for The Habit. Bye.